Welcome back to a brand new explainer. Today, we're unpacking what might just be the ultimate cognitive toolkit designed to transform crisis into creative opportunity. We are diving deep into the STAR STEMS framework. It's essentially a universal intellectual innovation, a thinking platform, if you will, specifically designed to scale collective thinking and collective action all the way from the individual mind to global society. Our ultimate goal today? To really understand how this blueprint can help us replace emotional, reactive conflict with structured, reasoned collaboration to achieve actual sustainable world peace.
Think about it for a second. When chaos hits, whether we're talking about a massive global crisis or just a neighborhood dispute over a parking spot, do you naturally react with frantic emotion, or do you step back and respond with structured logic? For most of us, conflict triggers an immediate emotional reaction, like fear or anger. But to solve any conflict sustainably, we've got to flip that default setting.
So today, we're going to walk through this 5-phase intellectual blueprint: stabilizing the inner world, defining the shared truth, setting the guiding star, engineering the action plan, and wrapping up with the infinite peace cycle. Let's get right into it.
Phase 1, stabilizing the inner world, which is absolutely the foundation of peace. This first phase relies on a profound truth. We absolutely have to stabilize our inner world before we can sustainably fix the outside world, right? The framework literally hands us a mental pause button. When a crisis happens, STAR STEMS emphasizes using simple breath awareness, known in the text as anapanasati, to short-circuit that reactive emotional state. You essentially stop fear or anger from completely hijacking your decisions, which immediately opens the door for calm, objective logic.
Okay, so once you've hit that pause button, you have to observe the problem clearly. We do this through what the framework calls the 5 universal laws of nature. We're looking at physical and environmental changes, biological mechanisms, psychological states, behavioral cause and effect, and universal natural changes. Why do we do this? Because viewing a problem through these specific lenses strips away all of your personal biases. You aren't judging the situation, you're seeing reality exactly as it truly exists.
Moving right along to Phase 2, defining the shared truth or establishing reality through SBL.
Look, small and large conflicts alike are almost always fueled by avidya, or ignorance, people just making assumptions. So, we have to establish an undeniable baseline of truth that all parties can agree on. We achieve this shared reality using situation-based learning, or SBL. We collaboratively walk through the classic 5W1H framework. Who is involved? What exactly is happening? Where? When? And eventually, why and how did it occur? Without a shared factual reality to start with, any peace-building effort is eventually going to collapse under the weight of misunderstandings.
That brings us to Phase 3, setting the guiding star and creating your STAR goal.
Peace is not just the absence of conflict, guys. It is a sustainable state of know, love, and unity. To reach that destination, your global guiding star has to meet 4 totally non-negotiable criteria. S for sustainability, the solution has to last long-term without creating new messes down the line. T for timeliness, it has to be appropriate for the current moment and urgent needs. A for applicability, meaning it's actually practical and achievable with the global resources you have. And R, response to needs. It absolutely must fairly address the needs of all stakeholders involved. If your goal doesn't check all 4 of these boxes, you gotta go back to the drawing board.
Next up is Phase 4, engineering the action plan using the STEMS process. So we have our starting point and we have our destination. Now we need a vehicle to actually bridge that gap. This brilliantly illustrates how the whole ecosystem works together. SBL is the centerpiece defining the problem, flanked seamlessly by our STAR goal at the top and our STEM strategy on the right. It all forms one continuous, interconnected problem-solving engine. The STEMS process itself engineers that bulletproof action plan through a fast-paced sequence of chronological steps. Step 1 is scientific thinking. This is where you use pure logic to find the real root cause, the why, instead of just treating surface-level symptoms. Step 2 is tie international technology. This is all about finding lessons learned by combining modern global tech, like AI, with local wisdom and historical successes. Step 3 is English engineering, where you logistically organize your resources into direct tasks to solve the core conflict, communication tasks to ensure everyone understands, and indirect tasks to manage support.
Then we hit Step 4, which is absolutely critical: moral mathematics. Think of this as a dual safety check. On the math side, you verify the plan. Is it logically cost-effective, reasonable, and efficient? But on the moral side, you filter it through pure human empathy.
Does it follow the ethical rule of putting yourself in another's shoes? You have to balance logical efficiency with empathy to guarantee that in your attempt to solve a problem, no one gets harmed.
The final step in this strategy is sociogeology. Listen, you can engineer the most logically perfect, cost-effective plan in the world, but if it clashes with local culture, traditions, or laws, it is going to fail. Filtering your solution through the social context of the people it actually affects is the only way you guarantee true social acceptance and long-term success.
Finally, we reach Phase 5, the infinite peace cycle for maintaining sustainable peace.
We have to acknowledge reality here. Major global conflicts are often infinite problems. You don't just solve them overnight. Once a peace plan is deployed, the work is not over. You have to continuously evaluate the results against those 4-star criteria we talked about. Are we still sustainable? Are we still meeting everyone's needs? You take those lessons learned and adapt in a continuous loop of improvement, constantly tweaking the strategy until that sustainable peace is well and truly locked in.
So, to bring it all together, by adopting this secular, universal framework, we scale collective thinking from the individual mind right up to global society. We're actively shifting away from a world of chaos and reactive conflict and moving toward what they call thinking fusion, where collective wisdom creates a society that is united, ethical, and actually peaceful for all stakeholders.
I'll leave you with this provocative thought. The framework is there, the tools are outlined, and the blueprint is right in your hands. The next time chaos strikes, will you just react, or will you truly think? I highly encourage you to try hitting that mental pause button the very next time you face the conflict, whether it's large or small. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.